Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the It's a Raptors Ting podcast. Done know we're here to talk about some Raptors basketball and how the start of the season's been going and everything like that. I really gotta say, I genuinely like what I'm seeing from the Toronto Raptors right now. With Siakam, he's been performing really well. Siakam's been talking a lot about how he wants to be a top five player in this league. And he's really getting to that point just by performing. He's scoring, he's assisting, and he's rebounding. He's got all the goods and all the makings of a great team player. He's definitely the type of player who's getting his stats while doing it within the team concept and helping the team to win, because he still is a team first guy at heart. So I really like that. And yeah, he's really just standing out as the best player and the leader on the Toronto Raptors right now. So I'm really happy to see Siakam do what he's doing. Last night in the game against Philadelphia, he was talking trash to PJ Tucker. And I think, that was really dope because PJ Tucker for Philadelphia, he's trying to instill some degree of toughness within a soft Joel Embiid and, a disgruntled James Harden and the rest of that squad. So I just feel like seeing Siakam, beaking out the mouth to PJ Tucker is really impressive because it undermines Philly's alleged toughness, So I'm glad to see that the Eastern Conference, it's the real deal out there. It's not just like a bunch of people pretending. The veneer of care ain't there. It's straight up Eastern Conference roughhouse basketball. The Eastern Conference is back, and you better believe that for this year going around. Another thing I really like to see was Gary Trent Jr. When he's hot, he's hot, and when he's not. But last night, that man was a bucket last night. He was just licking down bare shots. It's like, top shotas, top shotas, as we'd say up here in Toronto. Like Gary Trent Jr., he's always been an impressive shooter. And, you can see that he's starting to really get his legs under him and be consistent with that jumper. Another thing, and I'm really just focusing a lot on last night's matchup because I think there was just a lot to take away from it. But another thing is when I hearken back to the Raptors' performance in the playoffs last year against Philadelphia, they had a lot of trouble stopping Tyrese Maxey, but I never really believed in Maxey's ability. I never really believed in Maxey's ability as like some sort of unstoppable force, Now I will say Tyrese Maxey, he's got a great shot. He's agile, he's quick, he can drive to the bucket. He's definitely got those going for him. But the key to beating him was always to make sure that you stay in front of him. And if he does get past the initial defenders, you got to have those contingency plans in place to clog up the lane. And I just felt that, Maxey was, again, made into a non-factor because the Raptors did a great job of, slowing down the pace of the game, So thought that was interesting tidbit right there. Another thing I'll talk about is Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes is, our ambitious second-year sophomore. Scotty Barnes definitely wants to stand out, but I also think that right now he's operating within a space of ambition. And, this is an old phrase, but ambition is priceless, right? But sooner or later, that check will cash. It's just gonna take a little time, you know, because you can see that there's still some developmental hurdles that he has to go through, and it's all natural. It's all part of growing pains and learning. You know, learning when to use his ability and what specific abilities to use and the time frames in which to use them. So that's just something that will definitely come with practice, and not just like practice like what he's been doing with the Rico Hines runs, because the Rico Hines runs has really helped all of the Raptors players' abilities, but practice within the NBA setting and knowing, okay, when is it time for me to show off my dribble drive versus when is it time for me to just have a solid mid-range game, you know? Because once Scotty Barnes gets that mid-range game, he's going to be unstoppable. He's going to be a monster because he's practically already unstoppable in a lot of ways, but his biggest hindrance is not being able to shoot, and especially not being able to shoot a mid-range shot, because if Scotty Barnes starts to be consistent with the mid-range pull-up, like the amount of easy buckets he's going to score and the frequency at which he's going to score is going to skyrocket tremendously. Yeah. Well, I think that's it for episode 1 of the It's a Raptors Ting podcast. You know, shout outs and much respect to the audience for listening. You know, we as Canadians, you know, we gotta stick up for each other and look out for each other. You know, the American media always it doesn't always give us that respect that we deserve. But I'm out here to make sure that, you know, mandems are moving correctly and that our voice is seen and heard out here, you know? So with that being said, saying it's a Raptors Ting ehh. Peace out there still, you know? Say less.